Ricky here with Breaking Your Barriers, coming to you with our segment Hanging with Local Heroes. And this local hero for today is my buddy. And she's my sister from another mother. And if you don't think she's my sister, you can't see the similarities, there's something wrong with you. Anyway, our goal and project for this channel of Breaking Your Barriers and Hanging with Local Heroes is to inspire you, motivate you, give you that little nudge that you're going to need just in case you're trapped underneath your own challenges, underneath your own self doubt, and most importantly, underneath any kind of fear that's keeping you down. With that said, our hero for today is going to be sharing her story, and hopefully, it touches your heart and makes you think differently about your own situation. With that said, I want to welcome my friend, Linda Oneil. Linda, please feel free to share anything you want. I know you. You're awesome. Share whatever you want.
Thanks, Ricky. Yeah, we've talked, and I realized where I get my determination to just get out and do things,
Mhm.
whether they're right or wrong, or if there's been any mishaps because of the doing it prior. And I think it all stemmed from an incident when I was 9 years old, and my parents had their pilot's licenses. They got a 2-for-1 deal in Arizona. And we were flying to Nebraska to visit family, and the plane had mechanical issues.
Yikes.
And Dad was able to glide this plane onto a field in outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico. But given it was an oat field and they were kind of high oats,
Mhm.
once we got onto the field, the oats stopped the plane and then just stood us up and over.
That's crazy.
It, let me show you a picture. But that's my brother, my older brother, at the nose of that plane, and it's obviously upside down. The wheels are up in the air, the wings are down.
Linda, nobody would believe this until you showed that picture. If they still doubt that, that's crazy. That's and
That's why I had to show the picture.
so what else? I mean, what happened after that?
Well, nobody was hurt. Surprisingly, I lost a filling, and my mom, her knees were bruised. That was it. We were really, really fortunate.
Wow.
Well, the show must go on. We were going to a wedding for my uncle, so we rented a car and headed on to continue the trip. Well, that night we were staying in Colorado Springs, and I woke up to a doctor in the hotel room because I'd had a near drowning incident in the pool, and that was crazy. I still remember being pushed and pulled out of that pool and then passing out on the deck. My sister remembers noticing that I was struggling in the water. I didn't know how to swim yet.
Mhm.
And she told my brother, I don't think she's playing around. So he dove under and pushed me up and out. And my folks pulled me out from the top. But the next year, we were flying to Nebraska again, successfully this time. And about a year later, I decided I wanted to learn to swim. And 20 years later, I was scuba diving and living on a boat. So I didn't let even the drowning incident stop me from doing things. And I love to fly. What are the odds of being in another plane crash? But I think that really developed my determination to just get out and do things. But then there's been some not so great things I've done as a teenager. My mom was going to college and raising 3 teenagers. She went back to school when I was 10. And I think maybe we subconsciously took advantage of that fact. We were very independent, which was wonderful. We grew up strong, independent people, which was kind of unusual for back in the day. But then I would do things. I got good grades in school. I was getting straight A's. I was graduating in 3 years instead of 4 from high
Mm.
school. But when I could, I was ditching classes, the ones that my sister or brother weren't in. So they wouldn't know. And apparently they were doing the same.
They couldn't rat on you.
Yeah. I was really good at forging my mother's signature. but I kept my grades up and I was partying on the weekends. So I didn't want to affect my grades. I knew that was a priority. And I can't even imagine how my parents felt right then. As a mom myself, yeah, just heart attack. But I can't even imagine what they went through. And one thing I want to tell people is if you've done something really stupid, don't wait to apologize to your friends, your family, whoever you hurt, because nowadays you don't always have that chance. I fortunately did have the opportunities to make amends, as they call it, but not everybody does. We've seen this past year. It's not always a given that you get to have those conversations. So if you've done something really stupid, make up for it now. Don't wait. Get out there and apologize now. I still regret what I put them through. But I didn't think about it at the time. I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. I'm very determined. But no excuses.
I'm just curious. When you guys became independent, were you always a risk taker, or was it after that plane flip that caused you to change your thinking when it came to taking risk? Did you just say, you know what, I had a near death experience. It's time for me to do everything. Nothing's going to stop me. My determination is 1,000-fold now. What caused you to be this awesome risk taker that you became?
Well, we were pretty adventuresome as a family. We
Mm,
would do a lot of camping and hiking. I'm not sure how old I was when we were doing river rafting up in the White Mountains in Arizona.
yeah.
Well, it was inner tubing down the
Oh, okay.
river, and mom was supposed to pick us up at the bottom. And we started hearing a lot of loud noise and a lot more rocks. And we decided to get out and walk around that part. It was a waterfall. We did not know it was there. And it was taking us a while to get down. And mom went to the ranger station and said, I'm supposed to be picking up my family. He goes, lady, there's a waterfall between here and there. Why are they doing? But dad was with us. So we were pretty adventuresome. We would do four-wheeling, off-roading. We weren't just sitting at home. We were flying and off-roading and
Wow.
camping and hiking.
And see, one thing that I'm sure will catch our viewers and our listeners off guard is this, because my past interviews were with some of my other friends who have quite similar backgrounds to me, which was being in a gang, being a troublemaker. When they see you, Linda, they're looking at you thinking, but she looks like the sweetest person in the world. So listeners and viewers, it's my turn to tell you, never judge a book by its cover. Linda probably put me to shame when it came to being a troublemaker. And I don't say that lightly. I say it jokingly because I love her to death and I know where she's been and what she's gone through and who she's become today. But never judge a book by its cover, no matter who
No.
you are. We've all been through some crap in our lives. And I'm curious, what kind of peer pressure did you go through as a youngster?
It's the usual. This was a long time ago,
Uh-huh.
but I tended to do some of the pressuring myself as well. I wasn't always the instigator, but I wasn't always the follower either. Some of us, we just fed off each other.
Right. You fed off the energy, and sometimes you were the bully, and sometimes you were not.
Right. In Arizona at the time, drinking age was 19. And I remember at 16, you couldn't buy alcohol or beer
Uh-huh.
before noon on a Sunday. And we would want to go up to Sabino Canyon and hang out, play in the water. We would convince the Circle K up on the way up by Sabino Canyon to sell me beer. I drive up. He's like, well, let me see your driver's license. Oh, I forgot it. I'm trying to tell him that I'm 19. That was actually fun times when I had this old 68 AMC Rambler, this old yellow car,
Nice.
which dad's intention for buying that car for my sister and I to drive was that no boys would want to drive the car. No boyfriends would want to because it was so grungy. And I think he was right. But I would take that car and my friends, and there was a road, Old Spanish Trail,
Uh-huh.
it's the southeast part of town, that it had some dips, 3 in a row. And if you took that fast enough, you could get airborne on the last one. I proved that many times.
Oh, jeez.
I tore that poor car up. I put it into a 360 on a dirt road.
All right,
Little things.
just to let you viewers and listeners know, look out at the end of this month because Linda is apparently going to be on Fast and the Furious 9.
Well, that's another story. That was the street racing days in my Cougar or my
Right,
Camaro, either
see?
one of them.
What I tell you guys? I told you Linda here, my buddy, she'll put me to shame. I've been through some crap in my life and I've done some crap in my life. But I told you, if you can't see the similarity between me and my sister over here, I mean me and my sister over here, see, this side, that's crazy. I'm curious because all this craziness that you've gone through in your life, I'm sure people want to know what it is you do now and what finally caused you to get on the straight and narrow.
I did take a few years off between high school or right after high school. I was originally wanted to be a veterinarian,
Hmm.
but after about 3 weeks of school, I thought, I don't want to do this schooling for the next 8 years to be able to. There was no vet school in Arizona, so I would have had to apply out of state.
Right.
And in order to work while you're waiting to get into the vet college would be 4 years instead of 3 of pre-vet. Well, that's 8 years of school, and I'm thinking, I don't want to do this. So I quit. Right after I turned 18, I moved out of town,
Mhm.
spent another 2.5 years. We called the School of Hard Knocks, did some more stupid things, including the street racing. And then I was an assistant manager at Taco Bell in Tucson. I'd moved back eventually. And I kind of had a breakdown 2 weeks in a row, just mind numbing, bored to tears, literally at work. And I thought, okay, I need to go back to school. I need to do something different. This isn't enough. And I really couldn't decide what to do. So I thought, I know how to do accounting things. I was doing it as an assistant manager. So I went in and said, I'll be an accounting major at University of Arizona. Go Cats. And my advisor, he said, you ought to get a double in MIS. And I said, what's MIS? And he goes, Management
Hmm.
Information Systems. And I said, what's that? Seriously. And he goes, oh, computers. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I loved it. My first programming class, that first semester was so fun. And the accounting was so boring. So I went full on every programming class they would let me take. It was such a kick. I really enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
And that was my turning point. I just loved doing that. And I did it till I basically retired last year. I'm still doing some contracting this summer. But when people hear about my past and they see this, normal person and professional, I've talked to people that their children, their teens were doing things. And I said, you know what? They'll grow out of it. All you can do is be there for them and tell them, they can talk to you about anything and everything. That's the way my parents were.
Yep.
As long as you come tell me, we can fix it. And I said, they will turn around. It may take longer than you want. And it took me a while, but if I can do it, most other kids will.
And I'm hoping those of you that are listening and you've got kids who are troublemakers, all you can do, similar to what Linda said, is just be a guidance for them and be a listening ear. Give them a shoulder to lean on rather than an adversary. So I love that. Now I'm curious with regards to all of the risk you've taken in your life. How has that benefited you, and why do you recommend not only our youth but our adults of today? Why do you recommend for them to take risk either to chase their goals, chase their dreams, or try something new? Why do you recommend that? And how does it benefit people?
You don't want to have regrets later. You don't want to think down the road, I wish I had done this. I wish I had tried that. I'm actually thinking about trying skydiving. I don't really like heights unless I'm inside an airplane, but I think it would be good for me to do it. I passed up on doing a balloon ride in Albuquerque 28, 29 years ago at the big balloon festival there. I was afraid I'd be sitting in the bottom of the bucket and just taking up floor space, so I did not go.
Ah,
And I really wish I had gone. I wish I'd just done it. And you don't want to have regrets. You want to get out, do things, enjoy life, and don't wait till you're finally retired. Do it throughout your life. I'm not saying get out there every weekend and do some seriously risky, stupid things, but get out
right,
and do fun things. Travel when we can finally travel again.
right.
Have fun. Go see those places you've dreamed about or you've seen in the movies and thought, oh, that would be so cool to go see that. Do it. Get out there. Don't
I
have
love
those
that.
regrets later. The future is not a given. A long future is not a given. You want to have fun. Enjoy your life. No regrets.
The present is the greatest gift you have. So live in the present, which is
Yeah,
don't let your life just pass you by. And I
right,
appreciate what you're saying because me, I'm a risk taker too. And I said it in one of my previous videos, which is take risk, but don't go out there and commit a crime or do something stupid,
right.
similar to what you just said, Linda.
Yeah,
But for those of you that are aching to do something, do it. What do you have to lose? If you're
right,
worried about somebody talking trash about you, guess what? You do it or you don't do it, people are going to talk trash about you no matter what.
right,
And they're going to judge you no matter what. Oh, you're not going to
right.
do it? Oh, you're a coward. Oh, you're going to do it? Oh, you're stupid. I'd rather be stupid. At least I'm not
Yeah,
going to be on my deathbed saying, I wish
I
I
wish.
coulda, woulda done, all that stuff.
Yep, you're right.
And not only, truthfully speaking, this has been so amazing hearing some of the stories about you and your past. I've heard them because we're friends and we talk about all kinds of
Yeah.
craziness. But not only is it beneficial for adults, it's beneficial for youngsters. I want to know what your take on it is. How do you handle personally people who have hated, doubted, naysayers, those kind of people, toxic people? How do you deal with toxic people around you?
I think the first time I ran into a really toxic person in my career was when I started teaching programming at a small business college up by Santa Barbara. And this gentleman, I was really nervous. I hadn't done any public speaking to speak of, pardon the pun, but he was rather disrespectful, and he just picked up a magazine out of his backpack in class and sat there and started reading it the first class. And this was an adult class. It wasn't kids. He was probably
Wow.
30. He wasn't young. He wasn't old. He was a little bit older than me, but not much. And I thought, okay, this guy's going to be a bit of a challenge. And I just kept working with him, trying to, of course, work with the rest of the class as well. And he
Right.
would say, just tell me how to do it. Tell me the right way to do it. And I said, that's the fun part of this. There is no one right way. There's different options. There's different ways to do it. Be creative. Learn fun new ways to do the same thing. And he would just constantly be saying, just tell me the right way.
Wow.
It was crazy. And I finally started to get through to him. And then one test, he didn't make it to class that night of the test.
Mhm.
And then I gave him the makeup test. And of course, it was a different one, different version. But he had the answers from one of his friends who had already taken it. So they were verbatim for their version. So after I realized that, I took it over to him. I said, this isn't the same test everyone else took. Would you like to retake it? And he just was shocked that I was giving him that option. I could have got him kicked out of the school.
Right.
And that was the final clincher. And he finally started being more willing to work with me and actually became a really great person in the class. But it was a struggle. I took it on as a challenge, a personal challenge. But that first night, seriously, it was It was annoying. Yeah, yeah. But everyone else was really good in the class. But that was bad.
So he wasn't so much a naysayer, doubter, or hater. He was more of just indifferent.
Well, I guess I took it personal because it
Ah,
was in
okay.
my class, and I was a little insecure about doing this because I hadn't taught before, and I was relatively new out of college.
Right.
And I thought, why did they even hire me? It seemed kind of funny in retrospect that they would hire me. I just graduated practically. So that added to my own insecurity. So it was an interesting time. I did that for about a year and a half. It was fun.
Knowing that you're a speaker now, by the way, it makes me realize how much of a influence you've become from the troublemaker youth to this inspirer. And the reason I say that is because for you to take the time and not get him kicked out, you gave him a chance, similar to my band teacher giving me a chance when I was a horrible, horrible gang member. He didn't quit on me, and you didn't quit on this guy. You, if there's anything I could tell you, Linda, similar to what I wanted to tell my teacher, which I didn't have a chance to,
Oh,
you make a huge difference in a person's life, and that stays with them forever. Because when I was a troublemaker, I was 12, 13, and now many decades down the road, I'll never forget that teacher and what he did for me. So this man, he'll never forget what you did for him.
I hope so.
Now with everything you've shared, well, number one, I appreciate you being here with me, and number two, I just love hanging with you. And
I
the
love
last
hanging
thing,
with you too.
is there anything you'd like to leave a message for our listeners as well as our viewers that you can give them from your own personal experience that they will take with them for the rest of their lives?
I like to call it get back on the plane. That's what we did, and that has inspired me all my life. We didn't let the little mishap stop us from doing what we really enjoyed. So get out there, get back on the plane, try new things. Don't let those mishaps stop you.
Thank you, Linda. And like I told you guys, my buddy, your now local hero. If you have any comments or suggestions or ideas, or you'd like to just compliment and reach out to Linda, definitely leave a message in the chat box, and I will definitely get her the message. Otherwise, thank you for being on the show. And for those of you that are listening, what are you waiting for? It's time for you to break through your barriers. And if Linda hasn't inspired you, you need to listen harder. Until the next show, thanks, Linda. See you again.
Love you, Ricky. Bye
You
bye.
too.
Thank you.